Santa María, nuestra Dios del cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Santa María, nuestra Dios del cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Santa María, nuestra Dios del cielo, santificado.
Gloria y progreso, gracias a la misericordia. This is Sancista Luis. This is a video on Boveda Astrales, or what people are calling Boveda Astrales. This is a young maple tree that is growing in front of my house. You can see the leaves are starting to turn red and orange and all that. Usually on my Boveda, sorry, not my Boveda Astral, on my maple tree, my young, it's a baby maple tree, I usually have ribbons. As you can see, they're always here. It represents the ancestors. Okay, this tree represents, it's like an axis mundi. It's that connects me to the heavens and to my ancestors. It's that physical spirit, that dryad spirit that connects me to that. So you can see I have ribbons here that's connected to that. And I have ribbons often tied of various colors here. Depending on the season, I add green. I add, if it's Easter, I'll hang some eggs, maybe tie more ribbons to represent the season or the festivities. But these ribbons are always tied on this tree. I tied this on this tree when I moved here, and I leave them there until they begin to fall off. These still are very strong and they're still holding on tight, so they'll be there for a while. Again, this represents a axis mundi, un palo, that represents my connection with that which is heaven and the realm of the ancestors. In front of my door, or in front of the building of my house, I have a statue. It's I think it's completely made of cement, a la Virgen Milagrosa. I always have 2 cups of water, if you can see, always for her. This was a virgin that my grandmother honored and venerated. So I always have a statue of La Virgen Milagrosa in front of my house. It's a heavy statue. I swear to God, she weighs around 300 pounds. She comes separate from this vase, but I've always wanted one, so I always have her as a centinela, as a protectress of my home, my house. My grandmother was a Catholic as well as a Espiritista, and she was a devotee to La Milagrosa. So I have this in honor of her. My grandfather, he was a devotee to San Martin de Porres, and I have him in the window inside of my house. But her, the mother, she's outside, facing the front of my house. Beautiful. She's standing on top of her serpent. In voodoo, she represents Aida Wedo. In Sanse, Manequita Belcan. So she's always there representing protection. Belinde, some people call her. So she's there to represent, my ancestors. My grandmother, who was a devotee, a Catholic and Espiritista, and who was a devotee to this particular Virgin Saint, Virgin Mary. And she's in front of my house. Always has her glass. Sometimes I put a candle right here in the center, white candle, and I light it. Make a couple prayers, couple novenas for her. Always protecting the entrance of my home. Also in front of the house, by the front door, this is the front door of my house, in a corner, usually hiding by a tree. This is what we call a Boveda Astral. Some people call Boveda Astral. Okay, here's where I keep my centinelas, my spirits that watch the house, that guard the house. And here you will see a white enamel cup. It's rusted, but you will see that rust represents life-giving force. You will see a cup with metal cup. I think this is just tin with coffee. Can't see the coffee, but there's coffee there. There's coffee. I always keep a coco. I always change the coco every year. I don't know where the other cocoa, I think I do the other coconut one, the other coconut away. They usually get dark and they crack. But every year I purchase a new cocoa to protect the house, to guard the house, to watch over the house. Any black magic or negative energies that I don't want to come into the house, that's always there. Es como un guardian of the house. Some people call it un legua espiritual. Just to protect the house, I always have a stone. Here's a gift from one of my not my granddaughters, my daughters. It's a little, I guess, gnome's house. Okay, there's a dog to represent the dogs that walk with my son Lázaro. Over there in the back, you're gonna see a picture of Fe, Esperanza y Caridad. Here's some iron spikes. Some cigarettes. I always give my spirit cigarettes. Sitting on top, sorry about the dog, sitting on top of a red brick. Someday I'll do a video on why we use red bricks for protection. I always have as well, you can't probably see it here, but over here I have a palo, and I keep that right there, and that's always protecting the house. And you will see in front of my house, in the back of my house, you will see wind chimes. I'll try to zoom into that in a minute or take a picture of that, but those are wind chimes to protect my spirits and to warn me of any negative spirits. This is called some people are starting to call it a BOVEDA ASTRAL, I guess. Is what they're starting to call it. You know, we all keep things outside. Some people keep gnomes, fairies, Puerto Ricans, Indios, or whatever it may be. Here's an example of things that we keep outside. This is a pumpkin that me and my godson, it's Halloween season, so we carved, and this guy's gonna get lit for Halloween night. I'm also doing some sugar skulls for Dia de los Muertos, which I'm gonna probably place around here somewhere. But this is a jack-o'-lantern for the whole Hallows night. See, he's got some candle because I blessed it. My godson probably blessed it as well. Jack-o'-lantern to spook away the negative spirits. You know, so traditionally, many people had different things that they kept around their house or outside of their house to protect their house from negative spirits and to keep the positive spirits within. Sorry about my dog, he's barking, but this is in front of the house and is for protection. In front of the house, I have wind chimes. I think I showed you. Here's the bottle right there that I was talking to about earlier. But I have wind chimes. This one represents the sun and the moon. And I have an old pentagram. It's rusted. It's been with me for years. You know, rusted iron. There's a reason why they use iron in cemeteries. Keep the bad spirits inside the cemetery. You know what I'm saying? I guess keep negative vibrations, keep bad vibrations. So I always have a wind chime hanging, and they make the sounds of bells. You can hear the bells. Bells spook negative spirits, negative vibrations, negative spirits. So I always have a wind chime both in the front and in the back of the house. This one's in the shape, if you can see, as a pentagram, which represents the elements earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. Over here, the ancient mother, sun and moon, light and day, yin and yang. Those are just wind chimes that I have in the front of the house. In the back of my house, I always have wind chimes. I have wind chimes in the front and in the back of the house. This is a wind chime of a pentagram. I always have to have my wind chimes. Make sure no negative spirits come through this door. There's always rusted iron bells. You can see the rusted iron. Iron is a protector to make sure that no negative spirits come through the house, or that the spirit guides, my animas, my Bendita Animas, that walk with me or reside within this house, that protect the house, stay within the house. I have one outside, and if I open the door, I have another one right there. Pentagram is a symbol of protection. Very powerful protection. A lot of people think it's strictly Wicca. It's not really all completely Wicca. It's got ancient roots, but it represents the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, water, as well as spirit. And I always have wind chimes in front of the house and in the back of the house. And they always have iron. You got to make sure it's got to have rusted iron to keep the bad spirits out and the good spirits within the house. In the back of my house, I have right next to the door, I have what is becoming termed a BOVEDA ASTRAL. Okay, sorry about my raspy voice. It's early in the morning. I just woke up, making my coffee. This is the back of the house. So, as you can see, I always have 2 cups of water. Sometimes I have more. Okay, but usually it's 2 cups where I open the door and I'll pour the water every morning. I usually have a place where I keep a candle. It's an older candle. You can see it fell in a crack somewhere. There's a candle there that sometimes, I light for my ancestors. I have stones, river stones that I gather. I come from Rio Comerillo. I come from Puerto Rico, and around me we're surrounded by river, and I come from Comerillo. Although my mother's side is white, my father's side was Indian, so they come from the Comerillos people. Well, the people that were ruled by the cacique Comerillo. Here is a statue of an Indio, un cacique. This represents a Guaybana. Guaybana was, even though it's a Plains Indian chief with the war bonnet on his head, and dressed not as much as a cacique in the Caribbean. To me, it represents a Guaybana. The cacique that Christopher Columbus met when he came to the Caribbean, or to Puerto Rico. Again, you can see stones. You can see a coconut again. The coconut I change every year, once a year. Some seashells. It's fall, so the plants are beginning to die. Well, this one's dead. Don't know what that was, but it was a little gift from one of my granddaughters. You can see some mint leaves around here. Iron spikes. All these have representative meanings to me. Iron spikes for protection. Stones. Here's a Buddha. This is a gift to me. Again, there's a stone over here. Let's see if you can see it right there. That's like a legua espiritual. More Buddha. I don't have, not that I know I have Asian blood within me. I don't. Well, I guess I do if you consider like my Taino side. That's in my Asian side. My Native American side. You know, some people have different things that they keep here. Traditionally, people would keep gnomes, I guess, or fairies or whatever. Latinos, you see the sun is starting to come up over here to this building, so it's starting to get, it's harder to get for me to record the video, but you're gonna see that, you know, you can see the shadows, I guess. So anyways, this is my what they call a Boveda Astral. It's facing where the sun rises in the morning, the eastern side of the wall, and the sun looks like it's rising through, I don't know. Anyways, it's where the eastern side of the wall. Okay, it's not rising on the east because the east is that way, but it's still on this same direction. But anyways, this is Sancista Brujo Luis. If you like this video, please subscribe. Please hit like. Please leave a comment. This is about Bovedas Espirituales, or outdoor altars. Santo Sanse. You will also see these heavy stones that I gather at rivers. Pretty heavy. Stones represent the ancestors. That element that came from outer space, that first asteroid that hit the earth and created life, created motion to create life on earth. Represents the ancestors, the spirits. I have 7 to represent my 7 guides. Well, 7 of the larger stones. They're pretty heavy. And I have those in front of it. I keep La Boveda Astral protected. There's usually a plant of some sort. In the summer, this is covered by herbs. So usually it's like this. You can't really see much. But here, now that the fall and I gathered most of my herbs for baths and whatever it may be, you're starting to come out, you know, now you can see it more. Now people can see it. But usually I try to keep it so that at first sight, people who come through the back of my house, which is the door that the people come in, they usually don't see it as much. It's usually, you know, pretty much like this. But I've been, you know, clipping at this is my dog. I've been clipping at my herbs to make the last of what I have for herbs to make fresh herbal baths. I have, you know, different plants here, but again, this is oh, and I also have I'm protected by which I gotta fix it. I have a metal barrier where I keep them living, where I keep them housed. Everyone's gonna make their Boveda Astral different. It's in your means. There's no general rules. Keep all the 4 elements. Try to keep the elements. Air is always around you. Earth is always around you. But give them some water. This is my other dog, Roxy. But try to give them some water. She's nosy. Try to give them some water. Try to give them some light whenever you can. Please watch. Make sure you protect your home. I always, I don't know if you can see right here. There's my coffee grounds. Every time I make coffee, I throw the grounds here. I throw right here. I peel the pumpkin, and any fruit or vegetables, whatever it may be, I give back to the earth. I don't just throw it into the garbage. I give back to the earth. Feed the earth. Simple ways. But this is a pumpkin from the jack-o'-lantern that you saw earlier. Okay, so that's just I have seeds around here. Of course you can't see them, but of course my coffee grounds every morning. I drop my coffee grounds here. I don't throw it into the garbage. I give it back into the earth. This is Sancista Brujo Luis. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like, please subscribe. Santo Sanse.